Hello, greetings from Georgetown in Penang in Malaysia. Hoping I'm getting that right. Georgetown is a city in the, I think, the greater city of Penang, which is also a region, which is in the country of Malaysia. It's a really hot day today, about 90 in the sun. Feels stronger than it does back where I'm from, even with the same temperature. But for you guys, I'm gonna walk around. Hold on, a truck coming by here. Today I'm going to walk around this beautiful city of Georgetown, kind of an old British colonial town. Lots of old buildings and remnants from the colonial period. I walked around a little bit yesterday. It was really beautiful. So I'm really excited. It's a beautiful day. Really hoping it doesn't rain. It can rain here very suddenly, but not a cloud in the sky right now, as you can see. So let's head on out and try not to get hit by a car. Getting out to a main road here. And one thing about Kuala Lumpur, it's not the most pedestrian friendly. It's kind of hard to navigate around. You can walk short distances, but longer distances are a little tricky. You know, they have sometimes crosswalks, sometimes not. I'm heading up. They've got a big pedestrian bridge up here. I crossed yesterday. They have quite a few in Kuala Lumpur, the capital. Watch my earlier video. They have more of those, a little more efficient. Here, there's only a few, so you kind of have to make your way zigzag in and out, try to find the best route. But today, I'm going to head to the port, hopefully, and show you around this beautiful city. Okay, so crossing the bridge here, you can see it goes multi-directional. See there's a mall over that way. See the busy streets we're crossing. It's a nice little shortcut. I'm going to be heading over this way. Heading towards the port, gonna take a snaking route, I think, try to get there. And you can already see these beautiful old buildings down the street there. Some have been nicely restored, some are kind of falling apart, but they both have their own charm. It's not too bad. None of them are like, I've seen have been fully crumbling, but here you can see the busy place and why you want to take the pedestrian bridge. There's a big mall over there. This way. Try not to trip as I walk. Side street here, little mini market. People lining up for. We got these great like ice desserts here. Kind of. They look strange. They've got like noodles and beans and like ice and then sugar. It doesn't look the most appetizing to me, so I may skip that. May try that later. I'll head down this alley here. See lots of shops. There are lots of tourists here. There were yesterday I walked out of the port and there were two huge cruise ships there, Royal Caribbean, Symphony of the Seas, and I think Costa Cruises. So at the port were just tons of taxi drivers trying to sell their tours. Lots of tourists, but it's a beautiful town. I guess this is like the most popular cruise port here in Malaysia. You can see some of these beautiful old buildings. So they've got these old buildings up here. I think some are still used for businesses. Some I think are empty or maybe used for storage or something, but some of them are falling apart. You can see kind of they've been led to disrepair. Still very beautiful though. And one thing about Malaysia, you know, is you really have to watch where you're walking. They've got a lot of like open drains, open sewers, lots of steps and ups and downs, and if you're not paying attention, it's very easy to trip. So you have to kind of be careful. Difficult place to film and walk as I'm trying to do, so I'm not looking at the camera, I'm sorry, but you can see you take a wrong step here and you could easily break a leg. Yeah, see, like right here they've got step over a drain up, so it kind of takes constant vigilance to watch the drops, watch the traffic, you know. So one of the trickier parts of filming YouTube videos is, you know, focusing on filming but also try not to injure yourself. So you get to a street here. Let's see if I can cross. It's turning, not too bad. It's I don't know, let's head down this way. Oh. Let's see, everybody's out on this beautiful day. As you can see, a lot of these kind of old buildings, kind of not painted, kind of in disrepair, but still beautiful, not completely neglected. You go to some other ex-colonial countries and you look at the French colonial architecture, the British colonial architecture, kind of disintegrate and fall apart. Well, imagine keeping these old buildings up. It can be inordinately expensive, and plus there's kind of a charm to the semi-faded buildings they have. You know, sometimes if they make them too modern, that kind of loses its charm. They put a modern paint job and modern fixtures, they lose kind of the colonial charm. It was interesting, I asked, had a tour guide in Kuala Lumpur and asked him, what he thought of the British. This is a former British colony, and some former British colonies, you know, have good relationship with British, some hate the British, and he kind of said, well, you know, we fought in World War II together, and when we wanted our independence, we had one meeting and decided everyone would live together, and it was very easy. We didn't have to fight a civil war or anything, and so for the most part they had a mostly positive view of the British. And he said, you know, they built good railways, good buildings, and so he had a mostly positive view of the British. I'm sure that varies depending on who you ask, but clearly they, you know, maintained this, especially this is a ex-British colonial city. They've kind of maintained it, not hid from it. There's a old British fort up here, and old British government buildings. Yeah, you see these, I just really love these old buildings maintained, these old wooden shutters. Those look ancient. Kind of on a good path to walk on here, so I'll head down this way more. Nice with an actual sidewalk. Well, they keep having these, you know. I said you gotta watch yourself. Ooh, wow, here's an old, it's like motorcycle repair shop. Wow, that's really cool. Lots of kind of chaotic energy there. When they got up, it's like just a small lawnmower repair shop. Wow, very cool. You know, in America, we're such a disposable society. They have like lawnmower repair shops and stuff, but for the most part, it breaks down. It's sometimes cheaper just to buy a new one and throw the old one away. But here, and actually probably most countries, you know, people will take the time to fix things. It's probably better. You know, the U.S. and West in general can be a very wasteful society. Whew, it's already starting to get hot. It's about 90 today, and man, that humidity, it's not super humid today, but even a little humidity just gets me. Yesterday when I just walked for a couple hours around town and I look like I've been dumped with a bucket of water, covered in sweat. Thankfully I've got this long covered walkway, but looks like it's going to end here in a little bit. Ooh. And a lot of great restaurants, great food here. This area is known as the food capital of Malaysia, so you know, lots of restaurants on like every block, and I've had a couple of really great meals. So it's hard to go wrong. Let's see, which way should I go? Let's head down this way. See if I can cross. It looks like a lot of Chinese signs here. Must be in the Chinese area of town. Malaysia is it's like 60-65% Muslim. There's a large Chinese population as well, and a smaller Hindu population. So it's, you know, you see a lot of, it's very Muslim country. You see a lot of mosques and women in hijabs, and but then this part is clearly the Chinese section of town. And my guide in Kuala Lumpur was a Hindu, so I went to some Hindu temples, and he was very knowledgeable about Malaysia and religion and its culture, so it was an interesting tour. That's in my last video if you want to watch that. And we're coming up on this really beautiful old building. Let's get to it here. Step out in the sun. I love this green, and you see it's faded. It was painted, I mean, I guess not that long ago, years ago, but clearly faded, but still in pretty decent shape. But it doesn't look like it's being used for anything as far as I can tell. It's all boarded up. But it'd be nice if, like, especially buildings like this, if they could restore them and use them again. But there's just a lot of these hanging around. You can see on the streets. Okay, which way should I go? I think this way. Not really sure. I gotta head this way and then this way, and then the port's kind of over in that direction. Let's see. Yeah, clearly lots of Chinese writing. So I'm guessing this is their Chinatown here, and like a lot of cities, Southeast Asia have a large Chinese population. It's about, what time is it? 11:30. I got started a little late. I think I say that in a lot of my videos. I'm kind of a late starter in general, but especially when it's heat, it's best to start early. I found that it's much harder to film videos in Southeast Asia, just the heat and humidity. When I travel elsewhere, I like to film for 5, 6, 7 hours. But here I get 3 or 4 and I'm really exhausted. Some workers here. But then I remind myself I don't have to shovel gravel for a living. I have to remind myself sometimes how blessed I am. It's easy to complain, but here I am holding a selfie stick, walking around talking to myself. So let's see, there's an old mission or something, like it's been turned into a basic market. I think, oops, sorry, I just tripped right there. So again, you got to kind of watch your step. I think I'll head down this way for no particular reason. Admiring these old buildings. No sidewalk here. You gotta watch your, make sure you don't get hit by a car. This way. That looks like a popular restaurant. Always a good sign. Ooh, big line. May have to head there on my way back. It's big line and crowded restaurants, always a good sign. But then the downside is you have to wait. But I was trying to find that balance. You don't want to go to an empty restaurant because that's, you know, that's not going to be good. But I try to avoid ones where there's like a 20-minute long line. So you want crowded, small line. Probably your best bet, most efficient use of quality of food and time you have to waste. I usually avoid, it's interesting, a lot of people go, you hear those ones, those restaurants that go viral and real popular, and I'm not one who's gonna wait like an hour for food, you know, and I'll wait a little bit, but you know, if there's a big line, I'm kind of like, well, plenty of good restaurants in the world. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I love these old shutters. Must have been helpful to keep things cool back in the day for the British. Let's see, getting to Major Road, it doesn't get hard to figure out where to cross the street. There's a crosswalk over there, but it's not always the best way. Let's go this way. I don't know how many of these look like they're vacated. Some, I don't know if they're shops up there or used for homes, but probably a little of everything. Probably some abandoned. I've really enjoyed my time in Malaysia so far. Kuala Lumpur is a wonderful city, also not super pedestrian friendly, but easy to get around. Taxis are very cheap, so it wasn't a big problem. If you ever get stuck, it's hard to walk, just grab a taxi. Or they have a Grab here. They don't have Uber. They have an app called Grab, which works really well, and you know, getting anywhere in town for $3 to $5 is pretty reasonable. Let's cross here while we can. And between cities, I took a bus, very efficient bus system. That Kuala Lumpur has a huge bus station, which worked really well. My bus was on time. It was 5 hours. It took about 5 hours. You know, they stop, and there's no bathroom on the bus, but they stop, and you can go and get some snacks, and so very easy to get around. It was funny. I stayed in a fancy hotel my last 2 nights in Kuala Lumpur, and when I checked out, the woman said, "Oh, are you heading to the airport?" I said, "No, I'm headed to the bus station to get a bus." And she kind of looked at me. I thought, I don't think many people stay at this fancy hotel and then take a bus. You know, they fly or hire a car. So she was like, "What?" So, but I whenever I do stay in a fancy hotel, it's weird to like have like a backpack, and I dress like this, so I don't look like a guy that stays in a fancy hotel. But here it's pretty cheap. You can stay in a nice hotel for like $100 a night. You know, the hotels in general are very cheap. You get a nice, you know, hotel, your own bathroom, and it's like, you know, $30 a night in, you know, a major city. So, and the food's all been pretty cheap. Most meals are $4, $5, $6 for, you know, dinner and a drink and whatever else you want. There's a beautiful temple. I'm guessing a Hindu temple. I'm not sure of the religious makeup of this town in particular. I haven't seen as many Muslims as I did in Kuala Lumpur, and there were a lot. Here it seems maybe a little more diverse. But there are still, you know, mosques here and everything. Oh man, yeah, you can see that sweat. So lots of Hindu signs here. I guess we've gotten out of Chinatown and into the Hindu section. What they call it, Little India, I guess, would be the version of Chinatown. Okay, I'll head this way. Try not to get hit. What's this guy going? All right. They're lining up for something there. Well, I walked this similar path yesterday. This is a little different. Tried to scope it out. I walked down to the port. Ooh, they got these old, I'm sure if those are Buddhist? I'm not sure. Ooh, wow. I wonder how much this thing costs. Have that in your house. One problem with traveling light like I do with a backpack, you can't buy too many souvenirs or gifts or paintings, so it would be nice to have some. So I buy little things, sometimes gifts for people and occasional things, but you're kind of limited. Oh, look at these. Wow. Oh. Stores. Don't think that would go in my house, but oops. Market here. See if we can get through here. And looks like an old, beautiful old temple there. Some stores. Let's head down this way. They got some stuff smoking over here. Ooh, wow, check out this beautiful old tree. I love when they keep these trees, and some countries, when I was in Nepal, they were cutting these down like left and right. I thought it was real sad because something like that takes, I don't know, 100 years or more to grow. Let's see. So I'm here Georgetown today and one more day, and then I fly from Penang Airport headed to Bangkok, which will be, I think, my 55th country. Wow. So hard to believe I haven't been to Thailand ever, but this is my Southeast Asia. I've been to Vietnam before and Singapore, but this trip I'm doing, hopefully, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos is my goal. Maybe another, maybe cut one of those out. I'm not sure, depending on the situation. But we will see. Yeah, we're getting up on this big white building here. Gotta be something the British built. Looks like it's been well restored and maintained. Let's see if I can cross the street. Yeah, they say pedestrian first, but that hasn't been my experience. There's an old, looks like an old church of some sort, and they've got these stoplights, but they take forever. Let's see if I can just run across, but it gets pretty busy. So we'll see how long it takes here. Oh, that was quick. Usually it takes a lot longer than that. Let's see. Okay, we'll head this way. Alright, check this building out. High Court Building. Built in 1903 is this Penang Supreme Court. So yeah, it wasn't old. Wow. Not sure what it is now. It looks like it's been repurposed for something, but oh man. The problem is the sweat gets in my eyes and it's stinging and I can't see. And man, this sun is something else. You can see this beautiful blue sky. But that sun is super powerful. I forgot my sunglasses. I should have brought them, but I don't like to wear them when I film, but it's harder to see, but I really could probably use them right now with all the sweat and the glare. All right, so we're heading down here. This must have been a head of the government, because I think we're getting close to the port, and that's where the British fort was built when the British first occupied this island. So they built the city around that. It was a kind of a massive trading hub the British used. You know, all the shipping that must have come through. Even today, it's a very, you know, Singapore, Malaysia is all very strategic militarily, but mostly for trade. You know, one reason Singapore is so wealthy is all that trade has to go through right through there. I will say about filming YouTube videos, when you watch, you know, certain YouTubers that just do this walk and talk style, you think, well, that's easy, I could do that. It's a lot harder than it looks. Walking and thinking something interesting to say. Normally I have more edited videos. This is going to be a little looser, less organized one. Just thought I'd try it as an experiment and see how it works. But it's kind of tricky. You walk, I mean, just try to walk for 20 minutes and talk about stuff. You know, some things are interesting, some things are not, but you just kind of have to make it work. So, as you can see, I'm rambling right now and sweating. So we're getting to another intersection. So I can get across. Ooh, I think I can make it across here. Go truck, go truck, go. Yeah, because as I said, these lights and crosswalks can take a long time. They're not, I think they value cars more than the pedestrians. It's a little lighter here, so it's, I don't mean to complain. It's just how it is. It's definitely easier than, you know, countries like Vietnam, where there are crosswalks and lights, but nobody pays attention here. At least people will slow down and stop for you. So comparatively, this is pretty well organized. I don't mean to imply otherwise. That's one thing I've liked about Malaysia is, you know, the water's good, you can eat vegetables, you can eat food. I haven't had any stomach rumbles. You know, you go to some countries, you have to be careful what you eat, to get diarrhea or food poisoning. I've just eaten whatever I've seen, drinking the water, not a problem. It's a very amazing country, because it's very modern, at very modern parts, but it still retains kind of its old and historical charm, which not a lot of, some places are either there's no modernity and it's old but hard to navigate and hard to eat, or it's too modern and sterile, you know, like someplace like Singapore. This is kind of a good combination of the two. So if you ever thought about coming here, I'd really recommend it, assuming you can handle the, oh man, handle the heat. Okay, I think I'm seeing water up ahead. Means we're getting to the port. Excuse me. Alright, yeah, you can see it kind of clears out up here. Ooh, you do occasionally get a whiff of that raw sewage. Kind of, you can see they've got These are covered up, but these are usually like drains, and there's stuff flowing there. But sometimes these are just open, and you just see the sewage floating right by. But for the most part, it's not a problem. Some places you go and, man, you can't avoid the sewage smell. Here, it's pretty rare, but when it hits you, it's kind of like, ooh, wow. Okay, let's see where we are. I think if I go this way, good. And here we are at the water. Let's see. It goes all the way over there. Around, there's a big port over here, and that's where yesterday there was two giant cruise ships. Looks like none in port today, which means an easier day for walking for me, which is good. One thing about cruises, they dump off 4,000 people in a small area. It makes everything more complicated. I'm not against cruises. I was just on a European cruise, Mediterranean cruise this year, which is really great. But mostly I like this, just walking around, being by myself. You know, I like the freedom, you know, and with cruises you're like, well, you gotta be back at a certain time, and you know, you feel rushed here. You know, I could stand here in place all day, and well, I would probably sweat to death, but and I think if I have trouble, you know, falling and breaking my leg, it's not because I'm filming, but because I'm sweating in my eyes. Man, you can see the, yeah, we're on an island. I think the mainland's over there, and it's all these kind of Malaysia is like a big peninsula, and then these islands dotted all along, which we're on now. And you can see these old, more British buildings. Hello. Yeah, it looks like people are fishing here. Don't see any caught fish. Not sure if they're having any luck, but not sure how clean these waters are. Okay. You can see this beautiful, nicely restored building. Let's walk over there. Let's get across without dying. Good, no cars. Georgetown, Adelaide, sister city. So Adelaide in Australia. So yeah, see, this is nicely restored. I don't know if it's a museum now or, let's see. Just Bandaraya, Pulau Penang. Not sure. Doesn't look like a museum. Maybe it's business or government offices. Let's see. We have a park here. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Penang City Hall. Opened in 1903, seems to be a popular area for building stuff. Impressive Victorian-style public architecture seen in many of Malaysia's buildings of the period. Today, the municipal councillors still meet in the wood-paneled council chambers of City Hall. So that's what this is. Wow. Very beautiful. And well restored. Nice to see they're still using it as a government building. Those building like that is not cheap to maintain. Sometimes it's easier just to tear that down, build something new and modern. I like when they, especially when it's that beautiful, I like when they maintain a building like that. Because even though, you know, colonialism is a mostly dark history, you know, it is their history. That's probably complicated. I feel as we were talking about colonialism, like, oh, look at all this great stuff, and you know, it's in Vietnam, oh, great food and French bread and beautiful buildings, but especially like Vietnam, it was a very, French colonialism there was very dark. There was, you know, torture, and so I don't mean to make light of colonialism. I think, especially in the West, we have kind of a nostalgic view of this sort of thing. But you get a different perspective. One thing I like about travel is you get different perspective. You can talk to people about what it's like. You get all sorts of different views. Give you the full picture. Oh, here's the War Memorial. Must be World War I. A lot of those in the British world. And my guide, I think, said that the Malaysians and British fought side by side during World War II. So I thought that was interesting. All right, let's head back down along the water. Hello. You can see very beautiful. You see big cargo ships. I don't know if you can see big container ships over there. Very busy port. It's nice to be along the water. It's still hot, but has that nice, not cool sea breeze, but less hot sea breeze. Kind of refreshing. Okay, let's see if we can cross the street here. Both ways, not much traffic. And we've come to the old British fort here. You see the cannons up there. This was like the first thing the British built when they came here. They built a town around it. I guess as they said, this is like the biggest British fort in Malaysia. Not super huge, but it's see why they put it here. A nice view of the water surrounding harbors. I'm sure this was, today's harbor was the same harbor back then. You can see the old walls. Man, should have brought some water. I sometimes do have a backpack, but I thought I'm not going to be walking that long. And you know, if you have a backpack, that's more weight, and that. Plus, they sell water and drinks just about everywhere. But still, whew. You can see the fortifications there, and behind these buildings are the port. It's kind of blocked off. The entrance is farther up that way, but the entrance to the fort is right up around this corner. You see a rooster there. Hey, buddy. And you can probably figure it out, but the name of the town is Georgetown. It was named after King George III. Alright, Fort Cornwallis since 1786. Hello. Alright, heading in. So it was, for a foreigner, it's 20 ringgit, which is like $4. For an extra 5 ringgit, which is another $1, you get a free, well, not a free beer, it costs $1, but they give you a beer up in a beer garden. So here you can see the fort. But let's do the important things first. Grab a cold beer. Yeah, and even though this is a predominantly Muslim country, beer is pretty widely available, although I noticed on the admission sign it says beer is only available to non-Muslims aged 21 and over, so makes sense, but it's not hard to get here at all. All right, let's go up these stairs. And here's the beer garden. Yeah, nice shade, nice view for an ice cold beer, which sounds really good. When they said beer, I was worried, you know, you should get a warm beer, and on a hot day like this, cold beer is the only thing that will do. Let's see, let's say Carlsberg beer, it's not bad. Oh, wow. So back in the shade, take a little break. Whew. Gonna have my beer, then I'll be back. Whew, wow. Shade and a beer hit the spot. And I'll take you around a little bit of the fort here. Let's see, not sure why they have these tents up here, but up on the fortifications here. You can see the water over there. So head up here to the very top. Not the highest fort I've ever been to, but there's an old cannon. Most famous cannons, and was put on board a long wooden boat facing the North Channel by the Japanese in 1941. Dated in 1613. Oh wow. You can see there. And you can see the view. The water.
I can show you the Starship Fort.
And of course, right next to the cannon is the gunpowder magazine where they kept all the gunpowder. Not sure if this place was ever attacked, but it's, I just noticed they got a big ship's mast up there with no ship. Let's head down this way. You can see more of the walls here and these beautiful trees. Get in the shade here. So this is the sign for Fort Cornwallis, and also so it landed in 1786, and I love this, take possession in quotes, making a statement there, of Penang Island, which is where we are, so it's very interesting. See more of these great trees and a little side area here. Let's head over this way. So there's a little side area over here. I was here before. I thought there were going to be exhibits, but there's these little side rooms, but there's not much in there. They had little building dioramas of more modern buildings, really. So you head down here, and they have this must be the old rail bed with the old tracks. Pretty cool. Oh, and they have assuming they've got, these are the old fortifications. I don't know, this must be new structure then, and they kept remnants of the old base or whatever. Okay, more of those big, beautiful trees. have too many of those big, beautiful trees in the United States. We got big, tall, like sequoias, and although I'm sure people will correct me, oh no, in this state we've got those, but something about big trees in Southeast Asia are hard to beat, in my opinion. All right, some stairs here. Let's head on up. And you can see another corner of the fort, old clock tower. I think that was a Queen Victoria or something. I can't remember from yesterday. And then there's a little walking around. Oh, is much cooler, man. Grateful to be by the sea. Okay, there's a little bridge here that crosses the top of the entrance to the fort, and you can see those beautiful trees. Goes up to a dead end there, but here's the entrance. That's where you get the tickets. Here's back into town. So, get down these stairs here. So, that's the fort. It's, not the grandest fort I've ever been to, but it's interesting. It's in a beautiful location. It's got some nice history, and the beer that comes with it. Definitely worth the price of admission for a nice stop to break if you're walking along the sea in this area. All right, come out of the fort, back on the street. There's the Tourist Information Center right across the street. You got these old buildings. Imagine those are part of the old port, or what is now the new port. But and right over there is the terminal entrance. So if you come off a cruise ship, you come off here. And when I was here yesterday, there were like hundreds of people trying to sell city tours, taxi rides, things like that. So it gives you an orientation of where you are. Here's the clock tower from the outside of the fort. All right, I think that's going to be it for this video. Just a little quick one to show you around this beautiful town. Definitely worth a trip here. I've got one more day here, hoping to go up to Penang Hill. There's a tram that goes up there and some hiking and stuff, so hopefully, no promises, my next video will be that. That depends on the weather. It can fog over, and if it's pouring down rain and lightning, I think I'll probably skip it. And then it's off to Thailand. So hope you continue watching my channel, like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.